Hannibal, I gotta ask you a question. Since on this podcast we talk
sugar honey
about
iced tea. I forgot.
basketball and things as well. I'm gonna catch you off guard, so I hope you're not. I hope you're ready. So
Yeah.
before we get into the 90s hip hop, I got my notes. Let me show you. I got my notes ready. Okay, I'm ready. But I gotta ask my dear friend Hannibal what he feels about the state of NY basketball. Brooklyn Nets, man. What's going on? Give me a couple minutes. Give me a breakdown. A lot going on over there. I just want to hear your thoughts. I got a box of Kleenex if you need it. Let's go.
First of all, let me check and see if a trade happened yet. Like maybe, because the things have been going crazy right now. Okay, no trade. Okay.
No.
So I just feel like this is a bad dream. It's a bad dream. And I guess the biggest problem, or not the biggest problem, what I've learned is there's patterns of behavior within people that sometimes you think this is the time they're going to change, or this is time they're going to not let you down. But in terms of behavior, if someone is exhibiting a behavior that you have a problem with, it doesn't change in time. We may think that way. Yeah, there's some people who do change, but we have, 2 years ago, I had, like I'm in the team. It was, Katie and Harden and Kyrie Irving. They probably the three, that's the biggest three super team possible. All of them kind of in their prime. And you think, okay, championship. Yes, it's cheap, and they're supposed to, KD and Kyrie are supposed to go to the Knicks. They say F the Knicks are not cool anymore. And that's what KD said. We're gonna go to Brooklyn. And me, born and raised in Brooklyn, still living in Brooklyn for all of 37 years of my life. I was like, fantastic. Let's bring a championship to Brooklyn. There isn't any Brooklyn team. Last Brooklyn team was the Brooklyn Dodgers, and I don't remember any of that, and I don't watch baseball, but I know that they were here and they left. But the Brooklyn Dodgers a big deal here, right? And then just little by little, things just started to go wrong. I think when they did play, they won most of their games. I forgot their record, like 16-2. Like when all three came in,
yeah,
right? The first playoff series, some injuries happened. I think Harden had a hamstring. Kyrie had something. Okay, they lost to the Bucks. And then more problems happened, right? Kyrie with the vaccine. He doesn't want to take it. All right, cool. Harden is like, I'm mad that he's not taking a vaccine. I'm going to leave. I'm going to Philadelphia. We got Ben Simmons. All right, cool. And then you'll think, okay, still got a good three. Boston beats the brakes out of them and sweeps them. But then all of a sudden, Kyrie, because he doesn't get his max extension, he wants to leave. And then Kevin's like, I want to leave too. And I'm like, what the hell happened? Like, what happened here? And, I understand why I think Kevin felt like he wasted his time. I think KD, which is a very, I'm wondering who counseling these men, who are telling them what, like, if you had a weirdo friend, and I'm calling Kyrie a weirdo, if you had a weirdo friend, hey, I got a business opportunity. Let's go all the way over here in Brooklyn. First thing I would kind of say is like, I don't know, man. Like, you kind of weird. You think the earth is flat. You left LeBron. Like, maybe I should go somewhere else. Maybe I should take my own lead and figure it out. He's like, nah, that's my friend, because I want to be a contrarian. I want to do the opposite of what everyone else says. Okay, cool. But then don't be surprised of his behavior.
Right. You can't be surprised.
A pattern behavior. I think the same thing with Ben Simmons. It's a pattern of behavior. So it is just, it still blows my mind, because you think, okay, you got the three really great players. They'll figure it out, because that's what you think with basketball. Just put them all in.
Yep.
And it gives me more respect for LeBron, how he's able to do it. I know LeBron gets a lot of crap, but it's never this messy. I mean, it's messy right now. I think he's just old and he's going through what he's going through. But there's some more leadership there than with Kyrie and KD, and obviously Harden. They're not leaders.
None of them are leaders. You got to have a leader.
You need to follow Kyrie. You're not showing any leadership skills, and also you have bad judgment. So I think that's like the biggest thing I could take away from this. And a couple of days ago, it would be more expletives and me yelling and screaming. But I really believe that those three were not leaders. They're too sensitive to social media. They're on social media too much. Yes. Kyrie responds to Kyrie responding to a Barstool tweet. Now you may not even know who Barstool is. It's basically like a more like,
I know Barstool. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. But like, why are you responding to Barstool? because they said something. Kevin Garnett responds to every single tweet about him. Had burner accounts. These are they're too sensitive. They need to be led. They're not leaders, and they embarrassed themselves. And now they're gonna go somewhere, and I think Kevin wants to go to the Heat or the Suns. Like he wants to go to the team that can get him there faster.
Get him, yeah. And he's not, Katie's a phenomenal ball player, but I feel bad for you, man. Like, I don't understand. I mean, listen, I'm a Cubs fan. I'm from Chicago, so we didn't win a World Series in over 100 years. We won 2016. It was fantastic. But, I don't understand what's going on with NYC in basketball. It's just they can't. I think the ownership. I think with some of these teams, it starts with the owners and their decision making, and you can't expect. I think on paper, teams look good. Oh, we got Durant, we got Irving, we got James Harden. Oh my God, we're gonna get DeAndre Jordan, we got Blake Griffin. Like we got all these superstars, right? But chemistry is a big deal, and you got to trust each other on and off the court. I think that's why the Warriors did so good. I think that's why LeBron teams did well. The Spurs, the Bulls, you can go back, right? You have to draft well and mix in some free agents. You can't bring in 2, 3, 4 free agents from the outside because they're used to doing things a certain way. Harden's used to running the show in Houston, pounding the ball, taking 30 shots a game. Irving's used to doing kind of what he wants to do. Kevin Durant's used, so when you bring in those personalities, this is what you get. And not surprised, but it's crazy, man.
It's a colossal, it's such a colossal F up where, the problem is the Nets had a playoff team before this happened. They had the GM Sean Marks had a really decent group of players, and we had a good I forgot to do with the Afro. He's with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like we had a solid team of good players. They had
Jared Allen. You're talking about Jared Allen.
Jared Allen. That's Spencer Dinwiddie. Like he was pretty decent. Like we had some decent players, and then we blew it up. And obviously, you would blow it up if those two said I want to show up. But then they're picking the coach, and they realize Steve Nash is not ready to coach. They need to stop grabbing former players and think they're Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr is a unique guy who won everywhere he went, and most players don't have that. Jason Kidd had some bad. Remember, he was with the Brooklyn Nets, and then he was with the Bucks, and now he kind of figured it out with Dallas. It takes a while. Coaching is not easy, but and I know I saw one comment about the respect for LeBron. At least respect for the idea he treats it like a business. Is he front running it sometimes? Sure, but it doesn't come out like this. They don't blow it up. Like imagine he went to the Miami Heat and then blew up in 1 year. Like it didn't work that way. But yeah, it's embarrassing. No one likes the Knicks because the owner is really bad. He's probably one of the worst owners. He's up there with the guy who runs the Commanders now. I forgot the team.
Snyder.
Yeah, he was like, what's the worst owners in sports? It's him. It's Dan Snyder. They're bad. I don't know what it is. They want to win. It's just they don't know what they're doing.
Well, and I think some of these guys coming in free agencies or younger guys, we people our age and older look at the Garden, Madison Square Garden as the Mecca, the epic. We want to play there. All these great things have happened. These young generation don't care about that. They're not thinking about that, right? So it's not an attraction of free agents to go there. And it really hasn't been. Most of the free agents go to like the Lakers, Miami, other places.
No state income taxes.
Carmelo Anthony was the last one, the last big free agent. Him and Amari Stoudemire, but like nobody's going to New York to play ball. Like it's not a thing. And until they start drafting better, these New York teams ain't going anywhere, man. So
apparently the Yankees and the Mets. And I wish I watched baseball. I wish I was into it. Because apparently they're doing well. Both teams, I think they're doing pretty well. But other than basketball, I don't know what is, Knicks are still rebuilding. I know they paid a lot of money to a guy that I did not know until the playoffs. No, didn't know what Brunson was or who he was. But I was like, oh, he's actually pretty decent.
Jalen, they overpaid for him.
We'll give him $100 million. I don't know how the pay works anymore. I don't get it. But I think
everybody gets $100 million in the NBA.
Yeah, that's the going rate. I've heard down the radio. There's like, that's the going rate for starting a guard. I'm like, okay, that's the starting rate then, so be it. But I don't know what's gonna happen. If another trade happens, we'll talk about it. They may actually play this season because what they want, I don't know who's available to give. They want everything for Durant, and rightfully so. I mean, Durant is still in his prime. You
There's
can't give
only
him what
there's
he
only
wants.
maybe 5 guys that I think are untradeable that, you wouldn't give up for Durant. So yeah, you should. I mean, he is that guy that can get you some wins, but he's going to need help because he's not a leader, or at least he needs to be surrounded by guys that are a little more strong-minded to hold him accountable. He did well with the Warriors, and he won those chips because he just needed to score. He had other guys.
Oh
There's a
yeah,
system there. They had a winning coach. They had a winning what do you call
culture.
culture. Exactly. Thank you. So he just needed to be himself. Going to another team like Brooklyn and starting something new with a couple other superstars, he's just not that dude. Like, he's not
No,
that guy. He's a guy that's going to play really well at a high level of basketball, high efficiency, score at a crazy clip. Like, he's a bucket, but that's not. You need more than that to win a
and
chip.
that's
So
fine because not everyone need to do everything, right? Like
yeah,
you could ask him to be a better defender. He could defend if he wants to. I think what going back with LeBron, and I'm not a LeBron guy, but it's too much LeBron slander. I understand the way he made super teams, but he's not the first. He wasn't the first guy to do a super team. It happened in Boston, so it's not. But the idea that LeBron's Cleveland ring is the biggest ring, like of all the championships. That's the most important. He took
yeah.
Cleveland to a championship,
If you look at
and
everything involved, you're right. Yeah,
he actually took it. He was down 3-1. Like that's impossible.
and
Like
he beat
how
a team that won the most regular season games in the history of basketball.
can't take that from LeBron, no matter how much you think LeBron whines and cries and pretends he's reading and he's not reading anything. All the issues are he's in social issues, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. All those things you can criticize him. He won that chip for Cleveland. It doesn't matter. That's the most important ring he's ever gonna have.
Yep.
Kevin could be like, hey, listen, all right, Kyrie, yeah, we can't depend on you. You're weird. You take 2 weeks off for reasons we don't know. Not even the vaccine stuff. Like, you're just weird. All right, go. I'm gonna build this on my own or die trying. And we would have gave him more props. And he's like, nah, I don't want to do that.
He's
And
yeah, it's I don't know. KD's a great basketball player, but if anything, I'm actually more of a Irving Kyrie fan than I am a KD fan. All things considered, that's just me. I like Irving's game. I think he's just in his head on other things, non-basketball related.
get off of Twitter, man. He has to get off of
Both
social
of them.
media.
James Harden needed to get out of the strip club, hanging with Lil Baby.
At
Like,
least, all right, at
these
least I give
guys are
him the credit
just
about that one. I'm like, at least he's doing something productive. He's
well, I
hanging out
guess
with, well, not
big booty
productive.
girls.
I rather, what do you rather do? Be on your phone trying to challenge everyone about your legacy, or be at the Magic City?
Facts. Okay,
Yeah, like
you're
no.
right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.